The world is full of all sorts of buildings, but not all of them are top-notch or high-quality buildings. In fact, some of them have been worn down, become derelict, and straight up abandoned, which is why it's always cool to go and see buildings transform from something sad and broken into something beautiful and amazing. And it is something to behold and to be praised because of all the people who put hard work into it. Given that, allow us to show you 8 of the coolest architectural transformations. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. A public bathroom to a private home. To start off our question of transformation, let's talk about a true transformation that no one would have expected, going from having a public bathroom and then turning it into a private home. Yeah, this really happened. This came from the mind of Laura Clark, who lived in the UK. She found a rundown bathroom that was available in South London. The location here is key because that area isn't known for selling property on the cheap. So she took this place as a challenge and went to work. She spent about $20,000 on the property and then spent another $80,000 renovating it and transforming it into the house of her dreams. No joke. Despite having only a limited amount of space in it, she was able to put in a living room, a bathroom, and a kitchen in the space. And if you look at it now, you will be shocked to hear that it was indeed a bathroom once upon a time. But wait, there's one more twist to talk about. Because after she was done and the renovations were appraised, her new home was valued at nearly $500,000. So for a $100,000 investment, she made a home worth 5 times that. Perfect for when she decided to go shopping for a more basic home. Number 7. Leveling up a space. This is a story of Joel and Heidi Allen, who lived in British Columbia, and how they went and bought a rundown suburban ranch house. On the surface, doesn't sound too bad, but when you look at the home, you'll see that it's oddly shaped and spaced. The floor had holes in it, and the sheds at the place was filled with all sorts of garbage. Not exactly your ideal dream home, wouldn't you agree? But hey, that's the thing. While we would see trouble, they saw potential, mainly the potential for more space. They decided to add another layer to the home via a floor addition to the roof so that they could go and make more use of the wonderful villa that they had. Again, they were in Canada. Then they added a side extension to give themselves even more space, which they no doubt enjoyed. They weren't done though. They also toyed with the foundations and added some more extensions to give themselves some better entryways into the home. By the time they were done with their remodel, they had a home that looked nothing like the original, and they only spent $200,000 on it all. Pretty impressive, right? Number 6. The Siri Project. Take a look at this commercial building. It really doesn't look like anything you'd want, mainly because of it being so run down and worn out that you likely would think you couldn't do anything with it, but you would be very wrong, because Iden Architecture decided to get this building in Bangkok, Thailand, and make it something worthy of living in. The irony though is that the building would have been a bit hard to work around if the team wasn't inspired by Tetris. Yes, they used the idea of having odd shapes making a structure as inspiration to put in windows and more to liven up and brighten up the space. They used the space they had to design and construct specifically crafted rooms that would adhere to the shapes provided and cut out so that they would be able to make each room both work and look unique. The results make you feel like you're in something special and not infringing on the various other rooms that are around you. And if the title didn't give it away, they called this the Siri Project. Number 5. The Great British Glow Up. Heading back to the UK, let's go to Kent, England, where a once small and very square home once lived. Seriously, look at this thing. It's so square. Granted, is it functional? Yes, and obviously someone was able to live there, but it hardly was the most glamorous house in all of England, you know? It was even described as the ugliest house on the street. So yeah, people knew it wasn't that great, and yet Joanna Lewis thought she could go and do something with it, so she bought the property. After getting it and making some plans, she went to work. She decided to remove a key wall to give the house more space. She then added an extension on the backside of the house that would eventually become her kitchen. Then, when she decided she needed even more space, she went and got herself an upper level extension that could house another bedroom and a nursery. Add in a fresh coat of paint, and suddenly you have a house that isn't even close to being ugly anymore. Sometimes you just have to work with what you have and make it shine. Number 4. The Bathroom Bar. As we've shown so far, the only limit to renovation is your ability to go and make things work in your favor. And for one group of Brits, they decided to use an old Victorian era bathroom to become something they could honestly use, a bar. No, for real. You see, they found an underground bathroom that had been run down and derelict for years, so they bought it and started to transform it. The funny thing was that architecturally, it was already a well-known place because of its dome ceiling and glass roof. So they kept that and just worked on the interior, which brings us to the other irony. They kept a lot of the visual aesthetic of the place, including the white tiling that was all around. They just removed all of the urinals and such and went to town on making it more like a bar that you'd come to enjoy. Fast forward to 2020 and the WC Wine Bar was opened and the place looks amazing from top to bottom. Number 3, 70s style up. While the 70s absolutely did a lot of things right, not the least of which was disco, not everything was a home run. For example, take a look at the Garfield residence that could be found in California. Between its color and its shape, it's just not that good looking, which is sad given that it was on 15,000 square feet of land. Eventually though, First Studios came in and decided to go and make things a lot better. They basically went and did an entire remodel that made the house not only stand out, but truly open up, including completely remaking the front area of the house to add more living and viewing space. Moving to the inside, they went and did all sorts of rearrangements and took down walls to open up the place to give it a more open feel. The place looks much more elegant now, which was no doubt the goal of the studio, and anyone who lives there is no doubt happy with the look and the freedom that has been granted to them. Number 2, the bus house. Believe it or not, the act of renovating a bus is not as far-fetched as you might think. People have done it to make party buses in the past, as well as extensions of their home. But how about taking a bus and turning it into an actual home? Yep, someone did that. What they did was they took the school bus, stripped it down to its chassis, in terms of its body that is, and then outfitted the bus with wood paneling, drawers, and more. They even added windows to make sure that the bus could let in natural light. And this isn't a one-person place, it's one that can fit a family and allow them to cook, have a warm fire, and more. As if all of that wasn't enough, should the need to move arrive, the bus still drives. Yep, it is the ultimate mobile home. Number 1, the holiest bookshop. This 13th century church in the Netherlands had a problem. It was in disrepair and hadn't been used in a very long time outside of being a warehouse. Not exactly holy ground anymore. But then, architects Merckx and Giraud decided to transform the space into something more useful. They transformed the church into a multiple-story bookshop as well as a cafe. They added in some structures to add new depths and allow more books to be on display. It is simple, it is effective, and yeah, it works. What more could you want? So what do you think? What do you think of this look at architecture that was once drab and inhospitable, and then see it transformed into something breathtaking and magnificent? Can you believe that these buildings came back to life the way that they did? Which of these buildings were you the most surprised by in terms of their transformation? Do you know of any other buildings or structures that could be on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.